Hey there, Heretic. I'm Rishi Kular, Head of Product, and today I'm super excited to show you all of the new features and enhancements in the Quetelet release. Let's dive right in. First up to the plate is our Zuva integration. Zuva is a spin-out of Kira Systems, which has been a leader in the contract analysis space for over a decade. Zuva has what they call smart fields, which are built with machine learning technology to extract key information from documents trained by lawyers and subject matter experts. And here they have over 38 different agreement types and over 1,200 smart fields. So these are pre-trained, out-of-the-box, ready-to-go machine learning models for you to find information in your contracts. For example, let's say you have a client that's interested in credit agreements. Well, they have 214 smart fields within credit agreements. In this case, I've checked off 4 reasons for default for insolvency, non-payment, for breach, and inaccuracy. And I've also checked off remedies upon event of default. So essentially, within Heretic, I want Zuva to extract information into fields automatically, and I want the location saved so that when I click to the field, it navigates to the location in the contract. Well, voila. Here on the right, we have all of those fields auto-populated, information extracted accurately and comprehensively by Zuva. So notice that these 4 fields each has 2 highlights, because for each of these default reasons, there were 2 locations in the contract that had that concept. Zuva found both of them. Heretic rolls up both highlights into one field, so I can click multiple times to cycle through the different instances of that concept. And we have exactly what we want. Auto-populated fields based on machine learning technology powered by Zuva. For more information on the end-to-end workflow for how to set this up, which is very simple to do, I highly recommend you check out the Playing with Fire video on the Zuva integration. Next up to the plate is regular expression reporting. When you want to generate a report of all of the regular expression results across a dataset, we made some improvements in that area. Now, we not only populate the reporting fields on the main agreement, but we also automatically populate them on the section documents as well. For example, in this case, I just have a simple regex looking for force majeure references, and so now I can clearly see that there are 8 hits on this main agreement, and now I can also see that there are 6 within the force majeure section, but then there are also 2 in other sections like term and termination and acceptance. So that's one improvement. Another one is that if I were to rerun this analysis, we now replace. We used to append results, which was confusing because if you tweak the regex, you don't want to see old results. So now we always replace. Lastly, we do create a lot of fields whenever you run this type of analysis. And so now, whenever you delete the analysis set, we also automatically delete all of the fields that we auto-generated, just making it easier for you to clean up your workspace. For more information on regular expression reporting, you can head to our Help Center, Analyzing Contracts with Heretic, Running Analysis, Extraction, and you can scroll to How to generate a report of all regular expression results. Alright, next up we have document assembly. A lot of our clients are using document assembly as a post-review repapering workflow to generate amendments for contracts at scale. One thing that we've learned is that this workflow requires a bit of manual work in mapping tokens within your assembly template to fields in the workspace. Another thing we learned is that customers are using many assembly templates, and though they vary in their language template to template, oftentimes the tokens within those templates are the same. So now what you can do is choose a mapping from a previous document assembly model, and Heretic will auto map the tokens to the fields as they were in that other model. This saves hours of manual work in mapping tokens to fields. Boom. Another document assembly improvement we made was around customization in terms of what field values from the original the newly assembled amendment inherits. So now, let's say the original document had a governing law of Michigan. I can simply add this to a list of inherited field values, and now the newly generated amendments will also have a governing law of Michigan. This comes in handy for reporting purposes at the amendment level. For a deeper dive into this part of the product, check out our Playing with Fire video on document assembly. Next up to the plate is the Heretic viewer. We made a bunch of improvements here that I'm excited to show you. First, data points. You can now turn off the highlights for data points, but still navigate to those data points. Previously, you couldn't do this. But this comes in handy when the highlights are many on a document and you may want to remove that noise, but it's still important to you to navigate to them. That's now possible. We've also made a bunch of improvements to layouts if you direct your attention to this right pane. One improvement we made was to read-only fields. Now, the text of the value is much easier to read. It's the same color as fields that you can edit, so it's not this faint gray that's hard to read. We also have a handy tooltip to let you know that it's read-only along with an icon. Makes it easier to A, know that it's a read-only field, and B, compare it to fields that are editable, which our customers are often doing. We also made improvements to inline object lists. One, you'll notice here that though there is no data to display here, we dynamically resize the list so that it doesn't take up a bunch of wasted space in your layout. So now we're smarter with space. Also, you'll notice that these open a lot faster, they're snappier, and it feels like a smoother experience. There's 14 total items in this list. Previously, we capped it at 10 per page, but now we will show up to 50 items per page, limiting the amount that reviewers have to navigate page to page. We also made it easier to link and unlink objects to the list. So if you click unlink, we'll default it to the 14 that are already linked only. And if you click link, it will be everything except those 14. Previously, this was all rolled up into one button, and it was just a little confusing to add and remove objects from this list. Another improvement back to the left pane, for the definitions pane, you can now filter definitions. So you can just simply type ahead and still click to navigate to that definition. This comes in handy when there are many definitions in a contract, which is often the case. So that'll do it for this overview video. There are a slew of other enhancements we've made to object coding mode, custom connectors, Heretic compare, and even other viewer enhancements that we couldn't cover in this video, but do check out our full release notes blog post for more information. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.